Welcome to Psych Insight Lab, where we decode the hidden dynamics of relationships and the human mind's complex and deep mysteries. Have you ever felt someone pulling away just as you got close, leaving you confused about their true intentions today? Avoidants often unconsciously administer specific tests to gauge safety before deciding whether to re-enter a relationship or stay away. These tests are rarely malicious manipulations, but rather subconscious defense mechanisms designed to protect their fragile sense of emotional independence. Today, we will uncover the 5 specific tests an avoidant partner uses to check if it is safe to return. Understanding these hidden signals is crucial for your emotional well-being and helps you stop chasing ghosts that do not exist. Let us dive deep into the psychology of attachment and reveal the first subtle sign that they are testing you. The first test is subtle and confusing, often leaving you wondering if they are interested or just being polite now. This is known as breadcrumbing, where they scatter small digital morsels of attention to keep you engaged without any commitment. They might send a random meme or a brief check-in text just to see if you are still available there. It feels like a connection, but it is actually a low-effort way to monitor your interest level from a distance. Their goal is simply to check the temperature of the water before deciding whether to dive in or walk away. If you respond eagerly, they feel safe knowing you are still an option, often retreating once they have that confirmation. This keeps you in a state of longing, waiting for a real conversation that never actually arrives in the end. Imagine a fisherman casting a line not to catch a fish, but just to see if the fish are biting. For the avoidant, this minimizes the risk of rejection because they haven't actually asked for anything real or significant yet. You are left analyzing a simple emoji for hours, while they have already moved on with their day, feeling secure. While breadcrumbing tests your availability, the second test is designed to provoke a much stronger and more volatile emotional reaction. The second strategy is the jealousy check, where they suddenly become visible to trigger your fear of losing them completely. They might post frequently on social media, watch your stories religiously, or hint at seeing someone new in their life. It seems counterintuitive for an avoidant, but they want to know if you still have strong feelings enough to get jealous. Your jealousy provides them with a sense of worth and safety, confirming that they are still significant in your eyes. They are looking for a reaction, but not necessarily a connection, using your pain to soothe their own deep insecurities. By creating a triangle, they maintain distance while keeping you hooked, ensuring they remain the prize to be won today. You might feel the urge to compete or prove your love, which is exactly the reaction they are looking for. If you do not react, they might fear you have moved on, prompting them to reach out or disappear entirely. This toxic dance creates a cycle of anxiety for you and a temporary ego boost for their fragile self-esteem. However, sometimes they do not push you away. Instead, they pull you in during their darkest moments of personal need. This brings us to the third test, the crisis reach out, where they seek you only when things go wrong. They suddenly appear when they have a bad day, a health scare, or a family issue, needing your immediate comfort. They are testing if you are still willing to be their free, emotional support system without requiring commitment in return. It feels like intimacy because they are vulnerable, but do not mistake this temporary need for a genuine relationship change. You rush to help, thinking this is the breakthrough moment where they finally open up and let you in completely. Once the crisis is resolved and they feel stable, they will likely withdraw again, leaving you feeling used and confused. This dynamic reinforces a one-sided relationship where you give endless support while they take without offering any security or stability. They are checking if the door is still open, ensuring they have a safety net without the weight of obligation. Recognizing this pattern is painful but necessary to stop being an emotional convenience store for someone who offers nothing back. While crises are about the present, the next test is a manipulative illusion about a future that may never happen. The fourth test is future faking, where they spin elaborate tales of a life you have always wanted with them. They might talk about going to therapy, planning vacations, or finally moving in together, creating a beautiful vision of tomorrow. This creates a false sense of intimacy through words, allowing them to feel close without taking any real action today. It keeps you holding on, believing that change is just around the corner, if only you wait a little longer. However, their actions never match their words, and the timeline for these promises keeps shifting further into the distant future. They may genuinely mean it in the moment, but their fear of engulfment prevents them from ever following through later. You end up falling in love with potential rather than reality, trapped in a waiting room for a life unlived. This test checks if you are willing to accept crumbs of hope instead of demanding the whole loaf of bread. If you challenge them on these promises, they often retreat or accuse you of pressuring them, restarting the cycle again. The final test is the most confusing of all, as it involves a direct battle with their own nervous system. This is the consistency test, where they oscillate between pulling you close and pushing you away to measure their tolerance. They are testing their own nervous system to see if they feel suffocated or safe when intimacy levels start rising. They might have a wonderful date with you, only to disappear for 3 days because the closeness triggered their alarm. It is an internal struggle where they want connection but are terrified of the loss of self that comes with it. They are watching how you handle this instability. If you chase, they run. If you stay stable, they might return. This is about regulating their own anxiety, and unfortunately, you become the collateral damage in their internal war for safety. This inconsistency is exhausting for the partner, creating a trauma bond where you live for the highs and dread lows. Understanding these 5 tests is powerful, but knowing how to respond is the key to reclaiming your own emotional power. Remember, these tests are defense mechanisms, not malicious attacks, but that does not mean you must endure them forever now. Instead of trying to pass their tests to be chosen, you must set boundaries to protect your own mental health. You deserve a relationship that is consistent, safe, and loving, without having to decipher hidden codes or play mind games. Thank you for watching Psych Insight Lab. Subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology of relationships. See you soon.